Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. Now if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Do consider subscribing to the channel and we're going to get right into this tutorial. So today I'm going to be showing you how to edit an audio file so you can emulate radio communications, whether that's military radio, pilot radio, police radio, that two-way communication, that sound. I'm going to show you how to achieve that. I'm going to be using Premiere Pro today, but to be honest, you can do this in any video editing software and you can do this in any audio editing software as well. Okay, so there's two ways of going about this. Let's say you're doing a personal project and you're going to be recording the voice yourself. If you have that already pre-recorded, then you can import that file into Premiere Pro. Or if not, you can record directly from Premiere Pro as well. Maybe it's a client project or it's a short film, so you will already have that audio file within your project. But I'm going to show you how you can record directly from Premiere Pro, and then we're going to go into the editing side of things. Okay, so we are inside Premiere Pro, and as you can see on my timeline, I have some stock footage of an aircraft that is taxiing on a runway. And basically, if I wanted to do some voiceover on this with some air traffic control or ground traffic control in this case, then I can go ahead and record straight from Premiere Pro. So I'm just going to come down to the audio track and I'm going to hit this voiceover record button, and that'll allow me to record directly onto this track. Okay, so I'm just going to record something that's going to fit this scenario and that's going to make a little bit more sense. So let's try this. Taxi to runway 27 right via Alpha 2, cross runway 35. Okay, so regardless of what software that you're going to be using, the basis or the basic concept of this is using a high pass filter and adding a bit of distortion. Right, so I'm just going to go over to the presets. I'm going to search for high pass and I'm going to add the high pass filter to this file. Taxi to runway 27 right via Alpha 2, cross runway 35. Okay, so that's how it sounds with the default setting for this particular effect. So essentially what the high pass filter is doing, it's attenuating frequencies below a certain level. So then you can choose what level you want those frequencies to be. So essentially what you do is you adjust the cutoff parameter. So I'm just going to divide that into, if we take that down to 700 and we play this again here and hear the difference. Taxi to runway 27 right via Alpha 2, cross runway 35. Okay, so that's not too bad. Again, another explanation for a high pass filter is that it's removing the bass. It's removing the low frequencies, which is where your bass frequencies are, and it's kind of removing that from the sound. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to be doing to this one, as I said before, is adding distortion. So we're removing the bass and we're adding a little bit of distortion to create that realistic radio communications effect. So in our effects panel, we search for distortion. Taxi to runway 27 right via Alpha 2, cross runway 35. Okay, so that's sounding a lot more realistic and we're able to sell the effect quite a lot more. Just beware that everyone's voice profiles are different and the frequencies vary. So you might have to play around, you're going to have to play around with the cutoff point for the high pass filter till you get it to your particular taste. And you can also edit the amount of distortion or the type of distortion. So let me just show you that quickly. If we hit the edit and go into the distortion settings, we can see you have a list of different presets that you can use. You can change it up to get a different type of distortion in your audio file. So just have a mess around with it, have a play around with it. You can, reshape the curves to whatever you want it to be, and just trial and error. Trial and error is going to get you the best results or the results that you want. And don't be afraid to push the limits on the adjustments for these effects, guys, because at the end of the day, you can remove the effects, you can put them back on, and it wouldn't have any effect on your original file. Okay, so I want to show you another quick way that you can achieve this effect as well. So I've kind of gone around the long way, and now I'm going to show you the shorter way of doing this. So we're going to come over here to the Essential Sounds panel, and with our file selected, we're just going to choose a preset from here. So the preset we're going to choose is from the telephone. So if we select from the telephone, we're going to see that they've added two effects to this file now. So we've got a graphic equalizer and a dynamic processor. All right, so let me just explain this real quick, but first, let's play it. Taxi to runway 27 right via Alpha 2, cross runway 35. Not bad, not too bad. I would still probably add some distortion to that. Okay, so it's applied a 10-band graphic equalizer to this. And if we go in to edit that, and this is probably what you would see in most software. If you want to see this as a sort of a waveform, so these are the decibel levels with respect to the frequency range that is within this particular audio file. So we can see on the lower end, and this is why we're saying this is a high pass filter, because it's attenuated all the signals below this point here, and it's just pretty much just brought them down. So that's just to give you an idea of what a high pass filter actually does, as previously explained. Again, like I said, I would add some distortion to that. So if we add a bit of distortion to it, let's see how that sounds. Taxi to runway 27 right via Alpha 2, cross runway 35. And again, guys, feel free to go in and edit these parameters to get it just the way that you want it. All right, so let's do one more example, and this is going to be from a police perspective, and I just want to show you a little extra that you can add to even sell that effect even further, right? Okay, so now that we have the high pass and the distortion, we're just going to add a little bit more sound design to this one. So I'm just going to introduce a bit of static to overlay this. So this is static sound effects that I'm just overlaying on top of this. Bring the volume down a little bit, because realistically throughout the whole of the transmission you're going to be hearing static in the background. So you don't want it too loud, you just want a little bit of static in the back. So now we're going to add a little bit more icing to the cake. So with some two-way radios or with some radio systems, you have what you call a Roger bleep, and it sounds a bit like this. So it's normally at the start and at the end of a transmission. Here we go. Alpha 26 to dispatch. We have some suspicious activity on London Road. Requesting backup, over. Alright guys, so that is it. So the key thing that I want you guys to take away from here is that you can adjust those parameters to suit you, to suit your project, to suit what sounds best. Please leave a like, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.